The Institute of Buddhist Dialectics was founded by His Holiness the Dalai Lama on his 38th birthday, the 6th of June 1973. His Holiness founded the Institute to provide a special place to integrate in-depth, non-sectarian studies of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition with non-Buddhist subjects such as Tibetan culture, language, literature, history, and with aspects of modern education subjects such as science and foreign languages. Its main aims are to train advanced religious practitioners who would spend long periods in meditation retreat, to train scholars and researchers in fields of Buddhism, Tibetan language, and Tibetan culture, to train Dharma translators and to promote studies comparing Buddhism with other religions, modern science, and world culture, to train people to serve as teachers and in administrative and official roles within the Tibetan community. The Institute provides a 16-year course of study on both Buddhist Sutra and Tantra, leading to a Rime Geshe degree equivalent to a PhD in Buddhist studies. The program is in Tibetan language, and the traditional practice of philosophical debate is the principal method of study. As well as monks from Tibet and the Himalayan regions, the Institute also takes foreign students from both East and West, whether monastics or lay people, and provides them with exactly the same educational opportunities afforded to the Tibetan monks.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can read directly as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
you can stop in the middle way, whatever you do.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2.
The Tsadra Foundation is privately funded non-profit trust established in New York City. Its mission is to contribute to the ongoing development of wisdom and compassion in Western minds by advancing the combined study and practice of Tibetan Buddhism. Tsadra Foundation envisions and aims to support a flourishing community of Western scholar practitioners fully trained in the traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. It seeks to advance the consolidation of Buddhism in the West so as to ensure both its authenticity and its continuity. The foundation is non-sectarian and based on a culture of openness towards appreciation of all Buddhist traditions. From the many projects of Tsadra Foundation, one aspect is to provide scholarships for Western Buddhists to engage in long-term detailed studies of Buddhist philosophical literature in the Tibetan language at Tibetan Buddhist institutes in India and Nepal. Tsadra Foundation has to date supported 7 people at the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics in Dharamshala, North India. There are currently 5 studies scholarship recipients at the Institute. This short documentary is about their experience.
My name is Tupting Kelsang, is my Tibetan name, and my German name is Holger Götz. I'm 33 years old, and I'm studying Paujin at the moment, so it's my 3rd year of Paujin, and our main subject is Semgye, which translates to like the mind for awakening to become a Buddha, kind of. And my country is Germany. When I was working in Germany, there was like this half-year process of thinking about quitting my job and coming here and everything. But then on one day, it was like this, that I knew in myself, like there was this feeling of happiness, and I knew I made the decision of coming here and studying the Dharma. I feel at times that we get a little bit carried away by going into very technical debates and technical thinking. So I noticed that over time I kind of a little bit neglect my own Dharma practice in favor of those difficult like theoretical questions that we get asked during our studies. For myself, I have the urge to know the depth of the studies. Otherwise, I don't have enough trust in just the text saying I should do like this, I should behave like this, and then this result will happen, and it's possible to get enlightened, and all those things that are postulated in those texts. For me, that's not enough if it just says it is like this. I need to know why is it like this to have more faith in it. Otherwise, like I come from a like a Christian religious background, and there you're never asked to question what the church is saying, like what is in the text. They say it's like this, and this. And this, for me, that's not acceptable. And that's why in Buddhism, it's the same thing. I need those reasons why it's logical and why it should be like this and why it is like this. Otherwise, for me, it's like an empty shell. First of all, I'm really grateful that I got this scholarship and I got this opportunity to study here and get the funding from Tsadra. And the support is really great. Very grateful to the IBD, to the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, that I'm able to study here as a layperson. I don't need to be a monk, and the studies are for free, so it's really good here. And it gives me a lot of joy and pleasure as well. Like, debating is really fun. My classmates are really nice monks and friends now that we spend 4 or 5 years together. So it's kind of like family. We all go the same way. We all study the same. We have the same goals.
Hey, my name is Wendell Garnett. I am 39 years old. I'm born in the States, Panamanian, born in the States. And I'm in the third year of Parchin, and right now we're studying Semkye, Bodhicitta. Well, I guess my experience have been, been up and down. Sometimes it's just okay, sometimes it's just, especially when it comes to debate, and like when we have the big massive debates, and you have the guys jumping on you and you get all excited and you stumble on the words and they jump on you, you have that kind of experience. And then, on the flip side, like during the debate, sometimes you just have these moments where you find, like, I don't know, I just kind of call it like your thing, like your jam, you get a thing that you just like flow on, And so like those are rare, but it seems to be happening a little bit more than, at least at the beginning anyway, right, of what I'm at in that whole scheme. So even though what we're doing can seem extremely abstract at sometimes, we can always link it to where's my place in this grand scheme of things. Pretty much, but what I could say, without Tsadra, I wouldn't be here at all. And so, I have absolute, admiration and appreciation for what they've been able to do for all of us who have been here. Because of that, I felt like I've been able to become not only a better person, but also my, knowledge and my in-depthness for learning the Buddha Dharma has been completely expanded because of that. One of the most unique things is just, it's a place that's very, even though it's in a traditional setting, it's also very international from the many different students that we're able to interact with, right? So, in my class, for example, we have Koreans and, we have Spain and, classmates from very different cultures and stuff like that, monks and nuns, lay people all studying together, gives it quite a unique environment as compared to, let's say, if we're studying in Drepung, you probably wouldn't have that free-flowing environment.
My name is Losan Joma, or Emma Billsbury. I'm 39 years old. I come from England, and I'm here at the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics studying the first year of the perfection system. So the subject matter is very relevant to, integrating into our daily life, I think. Not all of it, some of it doesn't seem so obviously how you can apply to your daily life, but then the actual method of studying in this way with debate, also that's an amazing tool, amazing way to learn to think well, basically. That's one of the reasons I wanted to learn debate, not just definitely for the philosophical studies, but also as a way to train the mind, like an athlete would train physically, in a similar way, to learn the way of to think reasonably, basically. The debate is like a path of reasoning, to think quicker, deeper, and more in line with reality. And so up until now, actually I became a nun in 2005, and up until now it's the first time I've had support, had a scholarship, or any kind of formal sponsorship. And so the difference that it gives in my life is huge. And so before, I didn't feel that support from anywhere. To have the financial support is one thing, but also it feels such a moral support as well, just knowing that there's someone that they believe in what we're doing and they're willing to support us in what we're doing. That means a lot to me as well. As a foreign student, there's more if you join the IBD, then there's more of an opportunity to focus completely on the studies. If you live in a nunnery, then there's lots of other roles within the nunnery to carry out. Yeah, as the studies went on, I felt more and more the need to come and learn Tibetan and study the philosophy in Tibetan with debate. But yeah, so when I spoke with my teacher, and he also thought it was a good idea to come and do it, I just felt like it was a dream come true, honestly. That's how it feels. So I feel like I'm living my dream.
I think theoretically the idea would be to try and take all of those things and see how they, probably with Lamrim, or with the gradual stages of the path. So if one can, if I could probably take everything I've studied and put it onto the various sections of the path, then that would be the practice aspect of it. I guess the Dharma practice. The support that they've provided us, I mean, I think there's 5 of us, there was another couple, 2 of us before, right? And the fact that there is someone out there who's allowing us to do this in itself is enormous, because we couldn't have done it. Like, there's no way any of us would have been able to do it. Or we would have had to try really hard to be able to do it in a calm way. So they've given us the perfect background or the perfect base to be able to do this.
Made you choose?
IBD uniquely, well, I think when I was checking, it was the only place where us non-monastics could study. I think there was a few Shedras that also did, but I think the one that was the most established, well-known one was IBD, and it was familiar in terms of it being Dharamshala, so that was the reason why IBD. And in terms of what they allow us, again, it's like Tsadra, they allow us the perfect basis to be able to spend all your time and energy devoted entirely to studying and understanding these things.
Without the Tsadra Foundation support, it would have been very difficult to follow the path that I'm currently following. I'm in the 11th year of the school, and I think Tsadra Foundation have supported me for now 7 to 8 years now. So this is a huge kind of support to have given to me and all of the others here. And that there are also lay people, Tibetan lay people taken out of the Tibetan school systems here who come, and one of them next year is about to finish the entire Rime Geshe degree program, and will be a Rime, probably the first Tibetan Rime lay Geshe. There are complications and difficulties, but I think that's really part of our practice, is to find constructive ways of working with our mind to help us overcome those difficulties. I mean, everybody wants the same things. We just perhaps want the same things in slightly different ways or styles. So, we all want happiness. We don't want suffering. And culture is just culture.